Never a day goes by where a podcaster isn't looking for a way to promote their podcast. Enter newpodcasts.net, a new website brought to you by James Cridland of PodNews. Now, James has been doing this promotion of new podcasts for quite some time inside the PodNews newsletter, podcast, and of course, website. But now has this newly designed standalone website, which you can see here again at newpodcasts.net, sort of giving you a new layer to experience the new podcast coming through his PodNews universe. So on the new podcasts website, you can click to actually follow the podcast. So there is a podcast feed for all new podcasts coming through. You can subscribe to the weekly newsletter, or you can add your own show. Who should be adding shows? Well, as James outlines, if you click here, you can bring in, or you can use this to announce a new season of a podcast, a new trailer of a podcast, or a whole new podcast altogether. It's a fantastic utility that is a great way to get more eyeballs and ears, subscribers, readers, all of this stuff, thanks to the efforts of James and PodNews. So if we go to a more recent article, or actually today's article, we can scroll down to the section where James announces the new podcasts that have come through the new podcasts website. And you can see them here: Paper Places, Heavyweight, Hot Mess, and Start Here. These are the ones that are also listed right here. Actually, Heavyweight was the headline announcement, but all of these others are linked and mentioned here. And James also mentions this on the PodNews daily podcast, and of course, in the newsletter that goes out. So this is a fantastic resource by James and PodNews to get your new podcasts mentioned. Folks can come and browse this site. That's part of the attraction to this. It sort of just adds another layer to these promotional pieces James is offering to you. And you can play the recent episode that was submitted or trailer. You can follow on Apple Podcasts or Spotify, or click to get it on other podcast apps using episodes.fm by Nathan Gathright. This is another app that I've covered here on the podcast setup in the past. So newpodcasts.net gets this new marketing website. It's a fantastic utility. You can add your show, submit it, put a little summary in that you want James to mention, mark a calendar on when you want that to be promoted on PodNews. And I think the only thing that is holding it back is James himself, right? So as long as, you're not trying to promote anything spammy or anything else that shouldn't be on his channels, I'm assuming he would approve it. But of course, all things will be approved by James and team before that gets announced. Okay, so newpodcasts.net. Check it out if you're not already a subscriber to podnews.net. What are you waiting for? It's the #1 news source for podcasters. Join the newsletter. Listen to the podcast every day and every week with the Pod News Weekly. If you want promotion as well, for free, the podcast setup. Go to the podcast setup, share your podcast setup, fill out this little interview form that I have here. Tell me all about your podcast setup, how you're recording, what software you're using, where you're hosting, and all of the lessons in between. And I'll share that with our readers here at thepodcastsetup.com. Thanks for watching. Thumbs up if you like the video. Subscribe to the channel if you want more. Newpodcasts.net, podnews.net, thepodcastsetup.com. Thanks for watching. We'll see you in the next video.